Fatima, a 26-year-old lady, described how her husband filed for divorce from her 2 hours after they were married. As I sat down with Fatima, I could sense the pain and regret in her eyes. She began to share her story, one that was marked by heartbreak, deceit, and ultimately, a devastating divorce just hours after her wedding. Fatima had been in love before, but her past relationships had left her scarred. She had dated 2 men simultaneously, unsure of who had fathered her child. Desperate and confused, she had made the mistake of lying to both men, telling each that they were the father. But when they both denied paternity, she was left alone to raise her child. Despite the struggles, Fatima found solace in her child and eventually started selling garments to make ends meet. It was during this time that she met a wealthy man who swept her off her feet. They fell deeply in love, but Fatima's fear of rejection and shame led her to hide the truth about her past and her child. She convinced him that she was a virgin, and he respected her supposed innocence. But on their wedding day, as they sat in their hotel room, Fatima's guilt and fear overwhelmed her. She confessed the truth, hoping for forgiveness and understanding. According to Fatima, this is how it all started. In 2019, I fell in love for the first time, but that relationship only lasted 2 years because I often caught him with other women. After our breakup, I shared my experience with other women, and many of them told me that their husbands also make similar mistakes. I fell in love with another man. As women, we often feel the need to look good in public, and this became a problem for me when I found out that my new boyfriend was poor and couldn't take care of me financially. Because of this, I decided to start another relationship, and I ended up dating 2 guys at the same time. These situations were not a blessing for me. Soon after I got pregnant, and because I was dating 2 guys simultaneously, I could not determine who the father was. This confusion made me make another bad decision. Fatima continued, since I had no choice, I decided to tell both men that their baby was theirs. When I was with the first one, I told him the child was his, and then when I was with the second one, I told him the same thing. However, as soon as I did this, I realized my mistake. One of them began to deny paternity, claiming it was impossible because he had a medical condition that made it unlikely for him to father the same thing. However, as soon as I did this, I realized my mistake. One of them began to deny paternity, claiming it was impossible because he had a medical condition that made it unlikely for him to father a child. I had to leave him and try the other man, but to my surprise, he also denied being the father. I was left feeling desperate and confused, not knowing what to do next. After I gave birth, I started raising my child without my father's help. It was very difficult, but as God provides for every child, we managed to get by. Eventually, I found a job selling clothes, which helped me regain my confidence and appearance. Later, I met another man who truly loved me, and we fell in love with each other. This man was very wealthy. When we met, we talked and got to know each other. However, I made a big mistake when he asked about my past. I didn't tell him the truth. I told him I was single, and he was the first man I had romantic conversations with, hiding the fact that I had a child. During this time, I would leave my baby at home while I went to work in the morning and return in the evening. After a long day at work, I would take care of my baby. We fell in love, and after a while, like any other man, he wanted to sleep with me. Although I could have denied him in other ways, I made a big mistake by convincing him that I was a virgin and would never sleep with a man before marriage. He was a very nice person and respected my claim. Even though it was a lie, his love for me grew, and he told me he would be patient until we got married. Although we never slept together, it was possible because I had done it before and wasn't a virgin, as I had claimed. His love for me grew so much that he later asked me to quit my job, promising to give me my salary. Instead, by this time, we had developed a deed of trust that I would go to his house, spend time in his bedroom, and explore his entire house. He never forced me to sleep with him and assured me he would wait until we were married. Introducing him to her parents and convincing them not to tell her man the truth, she said, the time came. I introduced him to my parents, and I told everyone at home not to reveal the truth about me and my child. However, my family told me I was making a mistake by not being honest with him. I didn't pay much attention to their concerns and thought it would be easy to manage. When my parents met him, they were happy. He then took me to his parents, and they were pleased to see me as well. With both families happy and supportive, everything was set for our marriage, and he had already provided everything necessary for my family to agree to the marriage. We got married, and on our wedding day, we went to a hotel for our honeymoon. That night, after taking a shower, we started unboxing gifts. However, I was filled with fear about facing the consequences of my lies. I decided to tell him the truth, believing that, as my husband, he would understand and forgive me. I initiated the conversation and confessed that I had lied about everything. I revealed that I had a child and shared who I really was. He became very angry and told me I was not a woman he could live with. He said that even if we stayed together, he couldn't trust me to be loyal. Right after that, he left the hotel, telling me that everything between us was over. I tried to reach out to him, but whenever I saw him, he refused to listen, calling me a snake and telling me to stop pursuing him. As Fatima shared her story with me, I couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness and empathy. Her experiences were a testament to the complexities of human relationships and the devastating consequences of dishonesty. Yet, even in the midst of heartbreak, Fatima's strength and resilience shone through, a reminder that we all deserve a second chance at love and redemption.